Hello, my name is Darren Kramer, and I'm a professional trombonist, composer, and motivational speaker promoting music and wellness. And I am so excited for this opportunity to inspire you by revealing some of the magic and mystery of this fabulous instrument, the trombone. I was fortunate to grow up in a musical family not far from here, and I just always loved the trombone and the sound and all of the different bands that I was able to play in and the different styles of music, and of course the countless opportunities to travel the world and connect and collaborate with so many wonderful people. I call this trombonology because music really is a magic recipe of science and art. So this is a mini keynote concert, and it's going to be in two parts. So I'm going to briefly explain the physics of brass instruments, and then I'm going to take you on a magical mystery tour of the trombone. And I'll do this by performing 7 of my original songs in 7 different genres, which have historically featured the trombone. And the trombone is actually more popular and prevalent than many people realize. You hear it on the radio, it's in concerts, at football games. Also, the Disney Pixar movie, Soul, featured the trombone. And of course, these musicals, The Music Man and Hadestown, and it's just really exciting. Trombone is the fun, humorous kid in the brass section. And it's been called a sack butt, a paperclip. It often has a comedic element to it, which is understandable. That's my shower curtain. Everybody loves a trombone. So, what is it, and how does it work? In the name of music education, these are not trombones. This is not a trombone, even though it has a slide. This is a trombone. In fact, this is an exo-brass B-flat tenor trombone. And it's a unique but fairly simple design, and it really does kind of look like a paperclip. I wrote a song called Heavy Metal Paperclip. And it's simple. There's a bell, a slide, a mouthpiece, but there's some challenges to playing trombone. So let's get into that really quick. In order to fuel a brass instrument, you have to have air. And I really love the thought of inhaling imagination, exhaling expectation. But in order to produce sound, the air has to pass through lips that vibrate. So you got to cop a buzz. Try it. It's awesome. You sound like bees. So I buzz, mouthpiece, and then this acts like an amplifier. So a couple of quick things. Partials. You can access the overtone series with the strength of your lip, and that's how you get the 4-octave range. And you can kind of think of those as different floors of a building. Now, of course, the slide is the most obvious characteristic of the trombone, and it's sort of a mystery. There's 7 positions, and they control the pitch on each partial. So really, it's acting like an escalator between the floors. But there's no notches here, so that's the really challenging thing, especially for young players. You just have to know. So you have to use your ear, and you have to use your muscle memory. So it takes a little bit to get used to that. Then lastly, if you want to avoid the slide and get clean notes, you don't just push a button. You got to use your tongue and interrupt the airstream. So then it's like you're taking the steps up the escalator. So there's a lot of physical strength and flexibility and coordination. So it's a challenging instrument. But congratulations, you've just graduated. I'd like to begin with a brand new piece I wrote. The trombone actually was born in the mid-15th century, but I just composed this piece recently in the spirit of one of my favorite Romantic composers, Gustav Mahler, and this is called Reflection. Thank you. Now, in the early 1900s, Dixieland musicians started playing jazz and improvising not only the notes, but the sounds that they were using. So they were doing stuff like this. It's called flutter tongue. You get it by getting your tongue to flap in there like you're rolling your R's for Spanish. And they started doing some stuff with a mute. I just picked one up, the plunger. So if you've seen any cartoons, you've heard this. They usually take the stick out, but I just grabbed this from the bathroom. So, oh, I have another one.
You ready for some Nala brass funk from ElektroHornz? Let's do it!
Okay, now the big band era is probably the most associated music with the trombone, and that's probably because the two of the most popular bands were led by trombonists, Tommy Dorsey and Glenn Miller. I was fortunate enough to tour with the legacy band of Tommy Dorsey, led by Buddy Morrow in the late 90s, and learned a lot from that. And then, of course, Glenn Miller, he actually has ties to Colorado, if you weren't aware, grew up in Fort Morgan, and then attended CU Boulder just down the street. So anybody been to the Glenn Miller Ballroom? Yeah. So I'm going to perform a little quick piece using this solo tone mute. You don't see that too often. And one interesting thing, I mixed the first half of this song kind of in a 40s style, so it's kind of thin and nasally like the old radio back then, and then notice all of a sudden it'll open up. So this is really fun. It's called Swingin. Yeah. Now, I attended the University of Miami, and when I was down there in Florida, I was introduced to the wonderful world of Latin music, and it's really become part of my being. I love salsa, and you can't have an authentic salsa band without at least 1 or 2 or 3 trombones. So I played a lot of that through the years, and a few years ago, I was commissioned to write a big band piece for a high school jazz band. And I thought, in the name of music education, maybe it would be good to really learn the fundamental rhythms if I had the horns actually play the rhythms that are normally played by the rhythm section. So I'm going to perform that with my live looping rig using Ableton here and play a little ditty I call Skeleton. Yeah, thank you. I really love the funk, too. I mean, the 70s had so much great music, and all the bands used a horn section. So trumpet, saxophone, trombone. And I just love playing in a section like that. And one of the best players nowadays is Wayne Bergeron.
World-class trumpet player out in LA. It's so amazing to meet and work with your heroes, and that leads me to the pop genre.
Trombone is fairly prevalent, especially with Bruno Mars, right? Justin Timberlake. There's been a number of bands that have kind of revitalized this, but the three of my heroes as players, but as horn arrangers. And this is Jerry Hay on trumpet, Michael Brecker, tenor saxophone, and of course, James Pankow, the trombonist and horn arranger for the rock group Chicago, who has kept the trombone front and center on the radio for over 50 years. And I just saw him a few weeks ago in Vail, and he's still killing it. So what an inspiration to me. They've had a profound impact on me as a player, but also as a writer. So here's a song of mine, and it features horn parts written in this style. Hope you like it.
There's a place that we can get together for a long, long time, and it's not far from here. Told you when I met you, I would never let you break my heart, and you begin to
Thank you. That means it's time for our grand finale. And I think you're going to really enjoy this. Woo-hoo! This is my electric trombone. It's actually a plastic trombone that I've converted by using this mute and this special custom controller I designed, and it allows me to control Ableton Live, and it turns my horn into a guitar with a built-in whammy bar. Good night. So this is really a supercharged fusion of my love for horns, for composing, for producing music using modern technology. And I'm just excited to be contributing, hopefully, a new chapter to the history of the trombone. And I'm going to finish up here with E.T., the electric trombone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Trombonology.